Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hope and this is an impromptu book haul. My husband and I went to McKay's over the weekend. Sometimes it's hit or miss. We find things that are invaluable and sometimes we go and we don't find anything. This past weekend was one of those days where we found a ton of stuff and I told him we need to get out of here before we do some damage. But we had some McKay's store credit and so we were like, why don't we just go in? You hear little sounds in the background. My daughter's, she's smiling at me right now, but she's watching me film this video. So I have a whole different array of genres. I got Charlotte's Web. This was 95 cents. I'm excited about this one because I've been wanting to get this one to read for my boys. Library. Do you like that one? I also kind of liked that it was older looking. And then I got The Long Winter by Laura Ingalls Wilder. This book was very special to me growing up, and they had a newer edition of this book that looked the same. It had the same cover, but I loved this vintage book. I'm starting to get more into vintage books. My husband loves them. I'm just not really, I like the newer books, okay? They have a specific smell, and there's nothing like walking into a bookstore that sells new books. It's just like you're the first owner. I don't know. I just really like it. I'm excited to have this one. Next one I got was Victoria Victorious by Jean Plady. And this is a history on Queen Victoria. And I just love British history. But yeah, I was excited to pick this one up. It looked like it was in great condition. And I flipped through it a little bit and the writing just sounded really appealing and not, very boring. Next one that I picked up was The Library of Legend, Janie Chang. And this book I actually saw on Krista from Books and Jams, her YouTube. She showed this book the other day and I added it to my TBR. And I was just randomly walking through some of the shelves at McKay's and I didn't realize that it was the same book. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get that one. Companionship, library, bookish, travel. I don't really know more than that. I think it does have, it says they awaken immortals and guardian spirits who embark on an exodus of their own, one that changes the country's fate forever. So I think there are maybe elements of supernatural things happening here, but this sounded so good. All right, the next thing was, the other day was thinking, when you go into a bookstore of any kind, used or new, you always see these same authors that are very popular. And I was thinking, what is so appealing about them? Of course, I don't like to read things that are obscene or graphic, have excessive cursing or, demonic elements. But I thought, I need to at least find one of their works, read one work by these authors that are just so prominent, like Louise Penny, and there's C.J. Box, there's J.D. Robb. I just see them everywhere. And then another one was David Baldacci. And so I got his book, Wish You Well. And the thing that appealed to me was I'm from the South, and any story about the South, honestly, if it just says Appalachian Mountains or Virginia or Tennessee or Kentucky or any of those, South Carolina, North Carolina, you got me. And this one is about 12-year-old Louisa May Cardinal lives in the hectic New York City of 1940 with her family. Then tragedy strikes and Lou and her younger brother Oz must go with their invalid mother to live on their great-grandmother's farm in the Virginia mountains. Suddenly, Lou finds herself coming of age in a new landscape, making her first true friend and experiencing adventures, tragic, comic, and audacious. When a dark, destructive force encroaches on her new home, her struggle will play out in a crowded Virginia courtroom and determine the future of two children, an entire town, and the mountains they love. So, this is a popular author. We'll see what he's all about. Next, this is a kid's book, YA. No, not quite YA. It's middle grade, I believe. And this is called True and Nell. And this is a novel by G. Neri. And this is based on the real-life friendship of Truman Capote and Nell Harper Lee. And this is about another southern place, Monroeville, Alabama. So this is actually a mystery as well. So if you've never read To Kill a Mockingbird, that's sort of there's a mystery element going on there. I won't spoil it for you. This is sort of a play on of that story. So excited about that. Man, a lot of these books are just mountain folk books. And that's great. Anyway, when I was growing up, I loved to watch this show called Christy. My husband told me that he knew of her husband. His name was Peter Marshall, and he was a preacher. This book, particularly this edition, is just absolutely stunning. I loved it. And then it has like a map too of some of the places that are mentioned. This is just about a woman, if I can remember just from the show, a woman who goes and is from, I think, New York herself, maybe, and she goes and becomes a teacher in the mountains in Cutter Gap, Tennessee. Very excited to read this and excited about this edition as well. I grew up reading this book. I remember this book specifically because I loved the cover, but I found an edition that is illustrated and it was large, so I thought my boys may like it. Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. Print is easy to read. The images are beautiful. All right, now the last thing we got at McKay's, my husband picked out, and he collects different editions of the Chronicles of Narnia. So he picked out these editions of the Chronicles of Narnia, and I just want to quickly show you them. He did not find The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. He got the rest of them. Here's The Last Battle, The Magician's Nephew. This is my favorite of the Chronicles of Narnia so far. The Horse and His Boy, The Silver Chair, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and Prince Caspian. Then I went on over to Barnes & Noble and was not expecting to find, well, at first my husband found these, and they are sort of damaged, but this is Sense and Sensibility, the illustrated edition, but they're beautiful apart from that. And that was an early birthday gift from him. Then he said, well, first he got me Pride and Prejudice, which is this one, and I'm trying to take the sticker off of it, the $10 sticker off of it. He said, this is an early birthday gift. Do you want it now? And I said, yes, I do. And he handed me Pride and Prejudice, and he said, oh, they also have the Sense and Sensibility one. And I was like, I may need that one too. That'd be my thing. I may be the one who's collecting editions of Jane Austen books. That concludes the haul. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.